So let me tell you a rather embarrassing story, but also a very sobering story. And hopefully a story that will inspire people to think twice before they make a major purchase in their lives, and also just how important financial solvency really is. So obviously I'm not gonna go into detail and say people's names, reveal their names or identities because of privacy. Nor am I gonna say where if these events took place or what year. But let's just say that it was a different time. It was in a different time, in what feels like a different life, with a different view on the world. And so here it goes. I and my then partner bought a house way back in the day. We were imagining to settle down, raising a family, having kids, etc., etc. But then things happened. We broke up, we split up, and we did so during the middle of the construction of the house, because this wasn't a used home or like an old home. No, we bought a property and then we had a brand new house built from scratch. With a basement, with a foundation, building the walls, etc. The whole thing was built custom built. And so obviously, now I could go into way more details about what really happened and why it happened and so on, but that doesn't really matter because that's a story for a different time. And quite frankly, that's a story for somebody who only knows me on a personal level. Maybe someday I'll reveal it, but that's really not the point right here, right now. Here's what is the point though. That caused financial distress in my life to an extent that I'll never forget. Because on the one hand, I had to oversee the finishing of the construction of the house. On the other hand, I had to pay for rent where I was actually living at that time because, you can't live in an unfinished home. And in my country, you can't really reside in a residence in a house until you receive some sort of a license. I don't know if that's a country-specific thing right here, but you need like a license to actually physically reside in a home when it's done. Like a user's license, whatever you want to call it. But I don't really know why. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's quite ridiculous. I mean, why should the state need to issue like a license to actually allow you to live somewhere? It's pretty crazy, but whatever. So that happened. And we had to sell our home, or rather, I was tasked with selling our home or our house. Now, the house was on the market for well over a year, and nobody wanted to buy it. Even the real estate agent at that time that we hired, or that I hired, did a poor job, in my opinion. They seemed, I'm gonna say they because I don't want to reveal this person's identity or name. Like I said, they seemed very, very pessimistic, like very pessimistic, like to the degree that they themselves didn't even think that the house would be sold. It was really weird, and so obviously that went nowhere. So I fired their ass and I hired a new one, who actually managed to get the whole house sold after a couple of months. But anyway, during one of those times, at my financial bottom, let's say, of life, there were several occasions where I had to choose between paying for food or fuel for my car. I couldn't choose both. On the one hand, I had to pay for fuel to my car to actually be able to drive to the grocery store. But once at the grocery store, I couldn't afford to buy food. It was horrible. It was terrible. I'll never forget it. And it was so embarrassing. So embarrassing. And so that really taught me something. I think there right then, as I was sitting in the car after having filled up my fuel tank and chose to forego my meal, I decided that the only solution, and really this makes all the sense of the world, but it didn't to me at that time until this thing happened. The only solution to financial distress is to make more money. It's as simple as that. It ain't easy, but it's simple. And so that's really the major lesson of the day. The only solution to financial distress is to make more money. If you want to learn more about, well, I'm actually changing my messaging as of this time. I'll teach persuasion, but not to the extent that I've done before. I'll teach more about how to improve your finances. I'm careful saying stuff like, make more money, become rich, become a millionaire. I don't teach that. But I teach you the mental framework and also the physical steps to take to improve your financial situation, because I've been there before and I'm never going back. So if you want to join me in becoming rich, that's a much better way of messaging actually. Join me to become rich. Then get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is in the episode description wherever you're watching it or listening to this. And I'll see you there.